let's get started. Before we walk into the cucumber automation, and let's understand what is BDD. So the first step that we have to understand is about TDD, right? Because we have test-driven development and behavior-driven development, and we have acceptance test-driven development. There are three framework that we have in the market, which are very popular at this time. Now, so first let's understand what TDD is about. All right. So what is TDD is? TDD is basically TDD is basically based on the requirements specified in the documents. A developer writes an automated test case, right? So the test case will be executed in some time. At some point of time, the test case will fail, as they are developed before the development of an actual application or the feature or the module. The development team then refactors the code for the test to pass successfully, right? So this is what the approach of TDD. And if you look at it, this is what the TDD framework is about, right? First, we'll create a test and we'll execute the test. The test will obviously fail since we don't have any application functionality, and we'll make the change to the code so that the test case will become pass. Until then, we'll be executing. So that's what the approach of TDD, right? Test-driven development. Now, the benefits of test-driven development. This helps reduce the amount of time required for rework, helps explore bugs or errors very quickly, and helps to get faster feedback, encourages the development team of a cleaner and better design, enhances the productivity of the programmer, and so on. So these are all some of the benefits of test-driven development. When it comes about BDD,
Saranand, can you please?
You're not able to see the thing. Screen.
Yeah. Your screen is not visible, sir.
Okay, let me share it again.
Yeah, fine now. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Sorry about that, team. It was a technical issue, right? So now, this is what I was talking, and what is TDD? It's basically based on the requirement. The developer writes the automated test case. Since there are no functionalities of an actual feature, and when you execute the test case, will be failed. And till the test case becomes pass, we'll keep executing the test case. So that's what the test-driven development approach is about. Now, BDD, behavior-driven development or business-driven development. All right, and it's basically a testing approach, derived from the TDD approach. And in BDD, tests are mainly focused on the system behavior, right? And I'll talk about the difference between BDD, TDD, and so on a little later. And right, so the key benefits of the BDD approach. So BDD will allow the requirements to be defined in a standard approach using simple English, providing several ways to illustrate real-world scenarios for understanding requirements, provide platform that enables tech and non-tech team to collaborate and understand the requirements, right? So what is the benefit of BDD? And debugging the errors in the latest stage of development lifecycle often proves to be very expensive. So in the majority of the cases, ambiguity in understanding the requirements is the root cause behind this. So one need to ensure that all the development efforts remain aligned towards fulfilling the predefined set of requirements, right? So BDD allows developer to do the above, all right? So by doing the following points. Now, so we have another approach which is called acceptance test-driven development. It's basically if you ask me the difference between TDD, BDD, and ATD, and TDD is used more towards the unit test levels, right? And whereas the BDD is used more towards the system test level. And ATD, is used towards, more towards, user acceptance testing level, right? So that's, some of the key difference between all this. Now, just to note, acceptance test driven development is very similar to BDD. However, the key difference between them is BDD focus more on the behavior part of it, whereas the ATD focus more towards capturing the accurate requirements, right? Okay, and now, so what is TDD and how it works? And TDD is a technique whereby you write your test cases before you write an implementation of the code. And how it works, you write a single test, you compile it, you implement just enough code to get the test to compile, and you run the test and see if it fails, and implement just enough code to get the test to pass. Run the test and see if it passes. Refactor the code if needed, and then repeat, this for all the requirements. So that's what the approach of TDD, and that's what the approach of BDD as well. All right. Now, the BDD uses three different practices, team, right? And discovery. So, what is discovery? If you're saying discovery, discovery is basically understanding the requirement document. Is what the discovery phase. And formulation. So, formulation is the next phase in the BDD. The formulation is basically talks about documenting your requirement in the form of Gherkin language, right? Formulation is a practice of turning key examples from discovery into formalized documentation, such as Gherkin scenarios and so on. So that's called as formulation. And automation. So whatever we have written in the Gherkin language, that we will be automating, right? So that's a three different phases of BDD approach. So discovery is about understanding the requirement. Formulation is about documenting the requirement in the Gherkin format. Automation is about writing the automation script, for the Gherkin keywords, right? So we implement automation code for the Gherkin, right? So that's what the automation phase is about. There are multiple tools available for doing this, like BDD approach. We have to implement BDD, we have a tool called Cucumber of SpecFlow and Behave, JBehave. There are multiple tools available in the market. And one of the tools that I'm going to walk you through is with Cucumber. So, what is Cucumber of automation tool? Just give me a minute. Do we have a question? Team, can you hear me now? I see people are not able to, some of the people are not able to hear me. Can you hear me? Am I audible? All right, wonderful. I see a lot of faces. That's great. And if you are in case having any network, any audio issues, and please rejoin the session. Right now, team, Cucumber automation tool. So what is the Cucumber automation tool is about? It's basically a tool that executes the plain text functional description as automated test. So it is language that the language that Cucumber uses to understand is called Gherkin. Okay, so Cucumber tests are written in a file called feature file. Feature file, is one that contains a list of scenarios. All right. So this is all some of the terms that you have to understand. Now, team, just look at the slide. So what is feature file? every dot feature file will have a feature. Okay, every feature file will have a single feature, right? And a line starting with the keyword feature followed by free indented text starts as feature. The feature usually contains the list of scenarios together, independent of your file and directory structure, right? So what we have to understand from this slide team is like, what is feature file? So the feature file is basically a file that will contain the list of features, right? So what is feature? A feature is a collection of scenarios, all right? Now, if you look at the next slide, uh, feature is basically a single file, okay? So what is feature is basically a single file, all right, describing a single feature. And what is scenario? A scenario is basically a test case. And so every test case will have the following annotations, or keywords, so it will have given, when, then, precondition, execution, postcondition, and so on. And so this are all the multiple keywords, that can that can go under the Gherkin language, right? Now, that's the team. Just a quick, 2 slides. Then I'll walk you through the practical ones. Now, this is the sample. This is the sample. The Gherkin language feature file, right? So if you look at it, the feature is landing page, and after that, we have multiple keywords. We have given, we have when, we have then, and there are multiple keywords that basically Gherkin uses, right? Now, team, just a note. The given keyword is basically used as precondition. Okay, the given let me repeat again. The given keyword is basically used as the precondition. All right. So the when keyword is used on the steps. Okay, the test steps, and then keyword is basically to put your expected result. And so there are multiple keywords. I'll walk you through on this. And now let's have a demonstration about how to create a feature file and how to write Gherkin step definitions. And so let's practically see how to work with this. Now, no, I'm not going to use the slides. No, I'm going to practically walk you through on the concept. So that's why I was not in the full screen mode. All right. Now, why did we move from BDD? There is a question. Why did we move to BDD from TDD? I'll do one thing. I'll have a Q&A at the end of it, at the end of the session. Right now, let me start with how to work with Cucumber. All right. Now, team, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use Eclipse. So first step, what I'll do is that I'll create a new Java project, and let me name it as skill. Right. How about instead of creating a Java project, how about I make it a Maven project, right? So that I don't have to download the jar files. So what I'll do, team, I'll just create a Maven project and let me create a simple Maven project for you. Right. So now I have created Maven project. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to add just two dependencies, right? So let the unit test dependencies be there, and all I need to do is that to make this project as Maven project, and I just need to add only these two dependencies. Right. So right. That's it. So the dependencies that we have to add, team, cucumber of Java, and then cucumber JUnit. So there are two dependencies that I have to add to the pom.xml file, right? And now after this, what I'll do, I just right click on a project, and I'll say configure and convert to cucumber project. Right. So the moment you convert to cucumber project, and you could see a cucumber symbol here. The moment you right click and convert to cucumber project, and you could see a green color icon out here, which represents that this is the cucumber project, right? So now Kumar, what is not visible to you? Too small text. Text looks very small. Is that okay now? This is okay. Can you see them? Right. So now, team, the next, the next thing that I have to do is that I have to create a feature file, right? So what I'll do is that I will just I'll just create a package here. Or I'll do one thing. I've already created all the feature file, and let me just walk you through on that. And now, if you look at it, I have I have created the package called features, right? So this is my package, and under which I have created all my feature file, right? So how will you create a feature file, team? All you have to do is that just right click on it and just say file, and say, for example, I'll just say SkillUp. I'll just say T001. After that, you have to say dot feature. That's it. Moment you create it, you could see here automatically a feature file is created with some predefined set of content, right? Now, if you look at this, the hash symbol represents your comment, right? So whatever comes in the hash symbol, that's comments. Now, these are all some of the samples, like what you have. It has a tag, and it has given and when. So basically, the and can be clubbed with anything, right? So and can be clubbed with given keyword or when keyword or then keyword, right? If you want to have multiple condition checking, or if you want to have multiple steps, you can use and keyword in feature files. Now, what I'll do, team, I just delete all these things. And I've already created one feature file. Okay, let me use this one itself, for demonstration purpose. Now, if you look at it, if you look at it, team, and we have feature, right? So this is my feature. Say, for example, the feature name that I'm going to give as SkillUpRight. Okay. The feature name I'm providing SkillUpRight. And this feature contains a scenario called verify LinkedIn, right? So the scenario is nothing but your test case, right? So that's what scenario is about. So basically, the scenario is a test case, and this scenario contains some multiple keywords, given, when, and then, the list of keywords that it contains. Now, if you look at it, team, what is given? Given is basically used as prerequisite, right? So user should navigate to linkedin.com when when you want to test LinkedIn application. After that, after navigating to linkedin.com, these are all the steps, right? When is basically the steps that tester has to perform, right? So when the user enters valid username and enters valid password and clicks on the sign in button. After that, then it logs into the application. So basically, if you look at it, in the feature file, then represents your expected result, right? You expect the application to be logs into the system, right? So that's my expectation. So, and on top of it, I have given a tag here, and the tag name I have provided as webinar, right? So the tag name which I have given is webinar. That's it. So this is how the feature file will look like, team. How many Cucumber char files are needed? So, team, we'll do one thing. I'll take Q&A a little later because I cannot switch back to the presentation window and check all your queries. Let me complete, and then I'll take up. We'll have 10 minutes Q&A session in which I'll walk you through all your questions. Now, team, if you look at it, I have used tag which is called webinar, and right, so this is my tag, and this is my scenario, and these are all my keywords, and this is my feature file. So basically, this is what any typical feature file in Cucumber tool will contain. Cucumber tool, Gherkin, in Gherkin using Gherkin language, the feature file will contain the list of features and list of scenarios and list of keywords. And Is it possible to write multiple scenarios in a single feature? Yes, it is possible to have multiple scenarios in single feature. That's feasible. All right. Now, if you run a team, say for example, I have already defined. I'm just I'm just adding one to it, or let's say I'll say verify LinkedIn app, linkedin.org. I'll say enter uh, login name. I'll say login password. Sign. Then it should log into the LinkedIn app, right? Okay, right. Now, I have created my scenario. After creating your scenario, what you have to do is that just run it. The moment you run it, all right, team. So the moment you run it, and you could see it throws up an error here, right? And that is what the approach of TDD. Now we could see this is the scenario, and these are all your keywords, and you could see it gives you can implement the missing steps with the snippets below. Now, after you run your your feature file, now the next step would be to create your step definition file, right? So now if you see the step definition file, what I have done here, team, let me create one step definition file for you. What I'll do, I'll just right click here, and I'll just create it as Java class, and I'll just say SkillUp. What is the name that I've given for this? T001.feature. All right, so the next step after executing your feature file, what we have to do is that we have to just copy the unimplemented steps then paste it to your step definition file. All right, then it'll ask you to import all the statements. Just say Control Shift O. It'll import all the appropriate packages. Now, so team, under this, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to add a simple sysout statement, right? I'm just going to say sysout. This is used in navigating to LinkedIn page. So I'll say step 01, user navigates to LinkedIn page, right? So out here, what I would do is that for login name, that's my second step. I'm just going to say step 2, enter username. All right. And now out here, I'm just going to say step 3, enter password. Out here, I'm going to say step 4. And here I would say step 05, expected result should log in. Right. So these are all the the step definitions that I've written. So technically, if you look at the flow, the first thing that we have to do is that we have to first create a feature file, and this feature file will be linked with the step definition, right? So in the step definition, we will be writing our automation script portions, right? So all the automation scripts will go inside the step definition file. So basically what this feature file will do is the feature file will control your execution, right? So the feature file will control your execution. That's a concept. Now, if you look at it, team, in the feature file, now you have a green color, symbol. This says that this particular keyword contains implementation, right? So this is implemented. So that's what it means. Now, say for example, I'm just going to say and close app, right? Now, if you look at it, this becomes an yellow color symbol. That's because we don't have the implementation for this statement. So that's why, right? So now this green color icon shows like, we have implementation for this. And now if you look at it, if you press Control key and, you could see the hyperlink here. Now, if you click on this, it will navigate to the appropriate step definition, right? So team, what we have to understand here is every feature file will be connected with the step definition, right? Now, the next step, what we have to do is that, team, to execute, we need to create a runner file. Basically the three different items are needed when you want to work with Cucumber 2, right? So what are they? The first thing, what you need is you want to work with Cucumber. The first thing that you need to create is your feature file, right? And the second step is going to be your step definition. The second file that you need is your step definition file, right? And the third file that you need to create is your runner file. This is going to contain your runner options. Okay, so this is going to contain all your runner options, execution options, right? So the step definition file is going to contain your automation code, all right? Feature file is going to contain your the list of scenarios. That's it. That's a flow, team, all right? So now we are done with this too, and now we are going to create a runner file. Now, if you look at it, what I'll do in this package, I will just create runner file as E001 run. Right. So now out here, I'm just going to add a simple statement. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to add only these 2 lines. Right. So now, if you look at it, team, the 2 lines are run with cucumber.class. That's the first line, and after that, cucumber options. Open bracket, and within that you have to provide this argument. Features is equal to wherever your feature file is located. My feature files are stored under this particular package. Under the Java package, I have another package called BDD underscore features, under which I have my feature file stored. All right. So now, if you look at it, this is the place where my feature file is stored. Right. So I'm just giving the package name. And glue is basically this parameter. You have to specify your step definition file, name. All right. So the package name of your step definition. So now, if you look at it, BDD underscore steps is my package name, right? So where I have all my step definition files stored. So basically, the glue is going to have ask you the step definition file names or the package name. Tag, I may have multiple scenarios. Out of that, I want to execute a few scenarios, right? So for that, I'm using a tag here. And if you look at it, the feature file that I've given, I'm giving this tag name as webinar. Say for example, I'm going to say webinar, SkillUpRight. Right? And so I want to execute only the tags that has webinar SkillUpRight. So in that case, what I can do is that in the step definition file, I can provide my I can provide my tag name. Let's say for example, I'll say webinar SkillUpRight. Right. So that's a tag which I want to execute. Now. That's a team. So the 3 items what we have to create is first your feature file, second your step definition file, the third one is going to be your runner file. Now let's execute this and see what's happening. There you go. And step 1, user navigates to LinkedIn page and user enter username, enter password, click sign in, expect the result, it should log in, right? So all the sysout statement that we have provided within the step definition file that have been executed here. Now, why do we have to create feature file and then create a step definition and then create a runner file? What we will do, we'll do a simple swap. Say for example, now I'll copy this in the feature file. I'll copy this line, I'll put it in the top. Okay, I'll put it before the given tag. Now let's understand the execution flow. I should execute the runner file, correct? So let me execute the runner file. So there you go. Now, first it's executing expected result statement, and then it's executing the rest statement. So how this execution happens is basically based on your feature file. Whatever the flow that you have specified in the feature file in the same order, so the execution will happen. All right. Okay, so the 3 very important items that you have to remember when you're working with Cucumber tool is your feature file, and step definition file and the runner file. All right, team. So any questions on this? Any questions? Now let me take up the questions. All right. Now, when to use scenario outline? All right. So we have a scenario outline, and scenario outline can be used when you want to do parameterization. Say, for example, you want to execute this. You want to execute this scenario with multiple sets of data. Right. If you want to execute this with multiple set of login name and password. Multiple set of username and password. In that case, you can go for scenario outline, right? No, we don't use XML file here to run the program. Since we have not developed any frameworks to the end, we don't use XML file. We need different runner file for each feature file. Yeah, we need to create a different runner file for each feature file, but look, you can even run your feature file also. That's also possible. It's not that you have to execute only the runner file. You can even execute your feature file. You can execute even your pom.xml file, or you can execute even your Maven file. It's up to you. It's up to the framework that you are constructing. Is Maven mandatory for Cucumber framework? I wouldn't say it's mandatory, but otherwise we have to import all the necessary jar file if it is a standalone project. Since it is a Maven project, and since it's a Maven project, and it's very handy and it's very easy to import the appropriate jar files into the project. So how do we implement API in Cucumber? Well, I can do that. I can. All right. So now, team, if you look at it, what I have done here. Okay. Now, how can I connect Selenium with Cucumber, right? Now, if you look at it, team, in the earlier thing, I have given a sysout statement, correct? Now, what I have done, I've just put my So now, if you look at it, here what I have done, instead of the sysout statement, I have put my Selenium commands, right? And if you look at it, I can just integrate my Selenium commands within the step definition file. And so whatever the flow that you have given in the feature file, in that flow, it will be executed, right? So this way, you can call Selenium commands in step definition file. Now, if you look at it, if you look at the pom.xml file, what I've done, I've integrated Selenium jar file as well. Yeah. So if you look at the pom.xml file, I have integrated Selenium jar file. So it'll, the Cucumber project will support all your Selenium commands, right? Now, how can you integrate API, to it? How can you integrate your, REST API, or whatever the, SOAP protocol or REST protocol, so whatever you want to test. So how can you integrate that? What I have even done, I've even called my REST assured dependencies in the Maven project, so that this will support all your rest assured API testing. Now, this is my pom.xml file, and if you look at the step definition file that I've created for this, yeah, there you go. Do I have separate project for it? Yeah, it's the same way, team. And if you just look at the code, so this is the example, and all you have to do is that in the step definition file, instead of sysout statement. So what we have done here is like we have given our sysout statement, correct? Yeah. So what we have done here is like our sysout statement, right? So all you have to do is that if you want to integrate your Cucumber with REST or any API, and within that step definition file, you have to just provide your appropriate programming statements. That's it. So what I have done, I've given the rest assured statements, right? So within that step definition file. Now let me just run it and see what's happening. Now, say for example, step 04. I don't know which should be this one, and get the list of employees. Let me run it. I've done it long back, so not sure it works. Right. All right, team. So this is how you have to do. Now, all you have to do is that within the step definition file, you just need to provide the appropriate statement. That's it. So how do we create reports? Yeah, you can do that, and you can create reports for Cucumber, and it's just 2 lines of statement that you have to provide. So team, any other questions we have? See, what are the main advantages of Cucumber over Selenium? Selenium is the functional testing tool, right? But Cucumber is basically a framework, which will control, your testing tools, which will control your execution flow. Right, Cucumber does not have any set of methods or statements to test your application. So all we have to do is that from Cucumber we can call Selenium commands, or we can call APM commands, or we can call API commands, and we can control the Selenium or APM or API, whatever the testing tool that you're working. We can control the execution from the Cucumber framework. Right, so that's a concept. So Umang, is that clear? Yeah, it's all the Selenium, Soumya. It's all the Selenium way that you're working. So we are giving inputs in the form of send keys. Yeah, correct. It depends on the tool that you're working. Can we implement using Python instead of Java with Cucumber? Can you implement for Python? We have separate tool. So basically, people use that one. I won't recommend you Cucumber with Python. So there is a separate tool for it, which you can try out. What are the drawbacks of TDD? Why everyone is moving to BDD? Right. So I can see TDD and See, BDD is created from TDD, and so why people are moving towards BDD is very simple, and people, not much of the people are doing unit testing. And TDD is widely used in the unit testing approach, but BDD is used on the system testing approach. Mohan, the difference between scenario and scenario outline is scenario, is going to contain, just a feature. Scenario is going to contain just a test case. That's it. But whereas a scenario outline will contain the test case, which is parameterized. Say for example, I'll show you one example also if you want. And now if you look at it, so this is how the scenario outline will look like. Say for example, I've created scenario outline, and I'm saying user is navigated to Google search page. When user enters Teams and click on the search button, and user clicks on the videos tab, then all IPL videos should be displayed and browser closed. All right. So this is what the steps. Now, I do not provide the plain text here, but rather I have parameterized this. Now, when I have outline, so the outline will pick up the examples. Examples will have multiple data. Now, the team is nothing but the variable here, right? And this variable contains two different values. One CSK, another one is RCP. Now, when you run this test, what will happen is this will be executed for CSK and as well as RCP, right? So basically, the scenario outline is basically for parameterized test cases. Is that clear? Sai Kiran, are you clear? All right. What do we add? Great. Okay. Well, I can demonstrate about hooks, but again, it just takes little time. All you have to do is that you have to just add before and add after, kind of a thing. But I can take an example and walk you through that, but it'll take a lot of time. Since that is not also my plan for today. Can you please show the step definition file for the scenario outline where you have parameterized? Okay. What is this? Verify Google videos. I've done it for a different client, but I don't have. Okay, and I do not have any example at this point of time, but however, I'll do my level best for tomorrow. Okay, let me see if I can show you one example, tomorrow about, that parameterization concept. If I have time, I'll definitely walk you through that tomorrow. Right, Shival, is that okay with you? I don't have any example at this point of time. Can we use test data in feature file? Yeah, we can use test data in feature file. So that is what about your examples, right? So your examples are going to contain the test data. All right, team. So any questions? I planned for this, and we're done what we have planned. So any questions, team? Any questions? Please share the recording if you have recorded the session. I think Vinod, can you hear me?
Yes, Ronan, I can hear you.
Yeah, just share the recording with all the candidates.
Yeah, sure, I will share that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So Kavya, sorry, Deepak, and recordings will be shared. All right. So any other questions, team? Any other questions before I close up today's session? All right, team. And if there are no questions, thank you then, and bye for now. We'll catch up tomorrow then. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye, Ronan. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Bye, Vinod. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your support.
Yeah, bye.